There's a point in every parent's life when they have to let their child go, whether it be for better or for worst. It must happen at some point. I now sit here in my living room by myself, sulking over the photographs of distant memories of me and Dashie over her 20th birthday. I had planned a special outing to go see a flight show tomorrow. As we prepare to leave, there was a knocking on the door. Never in never in the years have we lived here has anyone knocked on the door. Hell, we hadn't even made arrangement for if someone did show up. I simply told her to go into her room while I talked. I'll take care of it. Once I heard the door Once I heard the door shut, I calmly and collectively asked who was knocking, expecting some stranger probably lost in his or her travels. A female voice spoke in an elegant, yet attention-grabbing tone. I felt myself listening to her with the most utter attention. She asked if she may come in a very Mexican accent. A question I normally refuse in a heartbeat, and yet something about her voice reminiscent. I couldn't help but I walked over to the door. When I first saw the figure standing at my porch, I wasn't sure if I was dreaming or hallucinating or if it was the acid I took. I don't know. Standing there was a radiant, majestical Princess Celestia. I'm at a loss for words, fighting both emotion of brony excitement, which I've only felt when I first found Dashie, or the emotions of sorrow, which I knew what it meant. She stood at the door for a second, looking at me. What we matched with each other, eye level. Her body being the size of a nearly full-grown horse, I stepped back and allowed her to enter. What caught me off guard was next with the 5 other ponies that followed suit. First Twilight Sparkle, then the rest of the gang. Pinkie Pie, Applejack, Rarity, Asshole, shit. Oh! Ew! This is an alien house. Look inside. Oh my god! Is that an exploded kitchen? You can blame Rainbow Dash. She was stopped by Applejack's hoof.
Ach, Sam sucks dished wie ein Insect. Easy there, Sugar Cube. We are just here for Rainbow, so we ain't got no time for eating.
Applejack's stomach growled.
No matter how hungry we are.
I still wasn't sure how to react to this, but I wasn't wanting to be rude. I offered some leftovers. We have some leftovers from last dinner night. You're more than welcome to some. Pinkie Pie took that as an okay and ran into the kitchen with much vigor. It seemed I did not need to tell her where everything was. She instantly knew where everything was placed. Factor it to either dumb luck or simply being Pinkie Pie, I chose the latter.
Ach, yeah, I'll go keep an eye on her.
Applejack said, walking to join the hyper pony who had ADHD. As she passed, she tipped her hat to me. I was finding the odd ponies were more hesitant around culture. Culture such as me. Then, again, the same... The fuck? Then again, the same could be said for myself. But having Dashie for 15 years, having such a thing around me now that I have 5 other full-size goddess horses looking at me with the same amount of curiosity as I held for them. There was a moment of silence as I watched the 2 mares enter my kitchen, rummaging through my fridge.
I'm quite surprised. I had expected a little more resistance to us entering.
Why? I know who all of you are.
Oh, so you do know then?
That you're fictional characters from a TV children's show. Then yes, otherwise, I have no clue. The last part I lied, hoping to keep my mind at ease. I knew the reason. I wanted to ignore it.
Oh, I think you do know.
My heart fell into a pit in my stomach. I did know. And she was straight to the point. During it all these years, I had anticipated this moment, but on that thought, I slowly dispelled until it was just nothing more than a minor nip in my head. That's always when it happens. You know, when everything is finally perfect and you don't have to worry about it anymore. Twilight began. I looked up at the purple. Oh, what the hell? That's weird. I looked at the purple mirror. I wanted to tell her no, but I knew it was fruitless. She's upstairs. In a room. Oh, fuck that. In a room? Rarity asked, surprised. Yes. Dashie's in a room. I wasn't sure who was knocking. I didn't want her spotted. Dashie, my, you're friendly with her already, Rarity continued. I want so much to punch that bitch of a pony right there and then. How she responded, insulted me? Friendly? That's not even the beginning of it. And why should I be asking you ponies as what the hell you did? Celestia raised a brow, taken back by change of tone.
You see, my student.
I know. She is. I get to. I know who she is. Get to the chase. I was very sure of her. As furious as I was, I wanted to know why they'd send Dashie as a filly to some other godforsaken world. Twilight bit her lip as their teacher continued.
Yes, of course. Ahem. She was working on a spell to help the weather team with some storm development. Well, she made a slightly large storm.
Bullshit!
And shut up. I'm talking. I'm a freaking goddess.
Screw you, YOLO!
You'll find another rules.
YOLO swag into the Fellowship of the Blig.
And when Twilight used her magic to try to dispel it, shot a lightning bolt to meet her magic. Rainbow Dash was unfortunate enough, because she was just stupid enough, to be within the reach of the blast. And it engulfed her, and sent her to, well, here. So here we are to retrieve her, slightly to kidnap her. Doesn't matter, same thing. Simple enough, I imagine.
Unfortunate enough to be within the blast that... Oh, wait, never mind, fuck that. That's what his narration. Before I could answer, Dashie called her bedroom.
Is everything alright?
That second, my heart stopped beating. I looked at the pony Arnold Schwarzenegger. Each one's face was pure shock and confusion. They recognized the voice of Rainbow Dash. But she said that.
Excuse me, Sugar Cube.
Applejack started, returning from the kitchen.
Did I just hear Rainbow Dash call you Dad?
Before I could answer, Celestia started up again.
Do you care to explain? I mean, this is freaking blowing my mind, and
Fuck you, get out.
Oh,
Call the police.
But no. Fine, just
I was lost. So many things were running through my head and mind at once. There was only one thing I could do, and I had to do it. I only knew, but I knew I wouldn't like it. Go into the living room, make yourself comfortable. I'll be right down with her. I didn't allow for a response. I turned around and walked up the stairs slowly.
Dad.
Yeah, Dashie. I'm coming up. I looked back down at the group of ponies that watched me ascend. We need to talk. So, that's what I did. I told her who was down there. They were there to take her back. She hadn't seen a cartoon every so often. She even found the weekly adventures entertaining. She had given up on any thought of the Rainbow Dash show from being her. She only viewed it as another cartoon. As I talked to her, I explained those very ponies she didn't believe in were downstairs. She brushed it off with some laughs. She didn't believe me, and I thought I was playing some type of joke on her. So I took her down to the living room. Dashie! Pinkie Pie shouted at him, jumping onto her silent friend. Dashie was quick to shove the pink pony off.
Hey, get away from me.
Up to the chopper. She was taken back by the sudden amount of ponies filling the living room. They all looked at her with worried expression on their face and why she shoved her friend in such a way. The pink kind and Pinkie's kind mane went straight. Pinkie's kind mane went straight at the look of confusion. You don't recognize me? Do you?
No, or any of you.
Dashie continued in hurt. Dashie continued. It hurt me in so many ways. I knew these were her friends. So many things happened differently that that she didn't know the truth fully, and neither did they. So I had to explain it to them.
I
Started Dashie.
Oh.
I started. Dashie, please take a seat while we talk to them.
Chris Hansen.
She did just as she did that in her recliner the entire time. She looked at the ponies who occupied the couches at the center of the fireplace. It was time, but first we had to start some questions. How long ago was she sent here? The question caught them off guard, but Twilight cleared her throat as she spoke.
About 15 days ago. Why?
I was speechless. 15 days? Shit! She must have been here for like 15 years. She was here for 15... That means a day in their world was a year in ours. Well... I continued. It's been a lot more time than that here.
How long?
Twilight asked with an erection. 15 years. All the other punks besides Celestia had their mouths open wide, gaping holes. It was almost cartoonish.
That doesn't explain why she doesn't know us.
Applejack said for erection. Well, the thing is, when I found her, she was a filly.
Ach, was?
From my math, I think she's no older than 5 years old. Now, Celestia looked surprised.
You mean to tell us that you've been taking care of Rainbow Dash for 15 years? Since she was a small filly?
I simply nodded. I looked over to Dashie. Who wore a expressionless look on her face. Well, she is. I started. I couldn't hold back my tears any longer. I know it's not true. God, I wish it was, but...
I now understand. The dad now makes sense.
Celestia cut me off, holding a stern look on her face. She was thinking, trying to piece together in her mind what happened, possibly happened. She chalked it up to magic being unstable and reverted her age. But for a few moments, it was quiet. Besides the breathing of several ponies and myself. Finally, it was Dashie who broke silence.
So, what's supposed to happen now?
Do we go to the chopper or what? I looked to the princess, trying to read her face. No matter how good I've gotten at reading Dashie's faces, Princess Celestia had the best poker face ever. Poker face. I had no clue what she was thinking or feeling at that moment.
Well, it's quite simple. Twilight, get the gun. Pinkie Pie, dig the grave. Never mind.
God damn it!
Twilight, you know what to do.
Fuck you!
Yeah.
Celestia looked at her pupil, instantly perked up at hearing her name. Do you remember that memory?
Yeah, you're breaking the fourth wall again.
I break it all the time, long with Leolo, man. You only live once, and that's why you break the fourth wall. Pinky knows what I'm talking about. Yes, I do. Yeah, fuck you, Pinky. Your voice sounds so weird. You sound like an Asian man dying.
Well,
God,
instead of murdering the person, I guess we can do the memory spell from the
Rammstein.
As she stood, I knew what was going on. Celestia had in mind. She wanted Twilight to either erase her memories and start anew, or possibly, she just wanted to give her memories of her old friendships back in Pony. I wasn't sure what to do. I felt it was right. I knew it was right, and I know it needed to be done. I had been telling myself that for 15 years as I waited for that moment, but there was something I needed to say before it happened. These ponies were gonna take away my little Dashie. And I had some words to say before that could happen. No, wait! I started. Twilight stopped, looked at the sun goddess. Just give me a moment to talk with her. That's all I ask. Since this is the last time we will see each other. I had given back, holding back the tears. I was openly crying. The ponies could tell I was hurting, and Dashie didn't look like she was faring too well either. So figuring it wasn't good to prolong the inevitable, I walked over to the chair Dashie sat in. I knelt down, eye level as I spoke. Dashie, my little Arnold Schwarzenegger Dashie. I love you with all my heart. You've done wonders to open me up from the man I once was. You. I had to pause for a moment to settle down. You brought me so much joy to my life. I can't possibly ever thank you for everything and anything you've ever done for me. At this point, Dashie began to cry too, only made it worse for me. Those 15 years we had together, talking, playing, flying, were so special to me. Just want you to know that I will forever love you. It doesn't matter if we are biologically related or different worlds. I don't care what you may ever think of me, or if you will ever remember me. But right now, you being my little Dashie, I want you. Wink, wink, nudge. I poked her chest to physically show I was talking to her. You know that fact. If there ever was a problem that happens and you need me, don't hesitate. I'll find a way. Don't hesitate to find a way to get me, okay? I tried to laugh, passing the last part off as a joke. It worked only slightly as we both continued to cry, but I could also hear some sniffling behind me. I could only hear Pinkie Patch crying much as she did at the end of the second episode of Season 1. Celestia and Luna's reuniting.
Do I have to go daddy?
It had been a few years since she's actually called me daddy. Most of the time it was simply dad or pops. It felt good knowing she still cared for me enough to call me daddy, much like she did the first time she did say it. Much like the first time she had said it to me. I simply nodded my head as I stood up before I could fully grasp my balance. She jumped onto me, hugged me so tight I could feel her tears on the back of my neck. I returned her embrace. It's your actual home, Dashie. You don't belong here because you're an illegal alien from Mexico.
I belong here. I know. I belong here with you. It's true. We need to go to the chopper together.
It hurts so much to say that, but I had to keep her convinced. I knew it was the right thing to do. No, you don't. You're limited here. You're only able to fly around the house. You have no friends or other ponies to relate to. I was only taking care of you until this time would come. And I never thought it would be this painful. I remained quiet for a few more minutes as we held each other tight. She didn't fight back. I want to resist what was happening, which told me she knew it must be done.
I love you, Daddy.
And I love you too, Arnold Schwarzenegger. We separated. She lowered herself onto the ground. At this point, the other ponies had tears flowing. The goddess herself seemed quite smug about it, knowing what had happened, but this time it was different and such. It was evidence that age difference was a shock. She most likely expected to find a 35-year-old Rainbow Dash, but instead found a 20-year-old Dashie. She stepped closer to Rainbow Dash, sniffling. Twilight stepped closer to Rainbow Dash, sniffling once more. Her horn glowed. I knew this was coming. It would hurt so much. But I knew it was right. It's what had to happen for her, for her friends, and in a twisted way for me. Now I know she was actually going home. And I wouldn't be around for her friends. And it would be around her friends where she could fly wherever she went without limitations. She could enjoy her friends and company once more.
Wait.
I look.
Robots have no emotion.
I don't think I can do this anymore.
Keep on
Guys,
trying, man. Keep on trying.
this is awful. We really should
Wait,
not upload this.
Papa, I must go back to my room and pick something up from the chopper.
Wait,
Guys,
I'll be back.
This is a
ridiculous.
nightmare.
I guess it's the end.
This is a nightmare.
No,
Let's
finish
just
it.
let's
we
just
got it.
recompose. Hang on. Let's just recompose and we'll come back to this part.
Yeah.
No, we need to like redo this whole thing.